But we're going to start this really hot. The Eagles.
They aren't hot. They're terrible, sir. They're cold.
The take is hot. Benching Wentz.
Oh.
It's not really hot in my opinion because I've been saying this for how long to bench Wentz and for a couple of weeks I've been saying this.
Quite a bit, at least 3-4 weeks. I've
been saying this for a while. Of like
keyword at least 3 to 4 weeks.
I mean,
bench Wentz, put Hurts in. Like, I don't believe. Don't get me wrong. I don't. For everyone who's like, listen, I don't believe Hurts is a future. I just think he's the possible answer right now. Seeing that Wentz can't do shit. Wentz can't play right now. So why continue with someone who can't play?
His confidence is completely shot.
If he had any confidence, it just got shot even more. So
exactly.
But I will say this though. I don't know if I would have gone to it, but I don't know if I would really go up against the best team in the NFC for him to go his first game.
I agree with that. That's why I think you shouldn't make it his only start. I mean, that's why I don't think it should be his only start, though.
Right.
If you start him here and then he gets trashed, and then he was terrible. Like, well, he played the number one defense in the entire league. Like, what do you expect? Yeah. You think Wentz is going to do better?
No.
Wentz got pulled against the Packers. The Packers defense isn't good.
It isn't.
But here's the thing, though. So
the Packers have a terrible rush defense, and they stopped running. But they always do. They run like 5 times on like the first drive, and then they just
we can't
pass
run
for the rest of the time.
Stop.
Yeah.
Miles Sanders is running real well, but let's end it right there.
Mm-hmm.
But no. So here's the other thing. Ironically, the year that Wentz is getting benched right now is one of his worst years, but ironically, he hasn't gotten hurt yet. So
I have to, because my thinking has been a lot of it is on Wentz, yes, but it's also on the.
He's not getting any help though.
No one's getting any help.
Well,
but here's something that I noticed. Maybe this is just me, but it looked like the Eagles were blocking a lot better for Jalen Hurts compared to Carson Wentz.
They looked better with Hurts than they did with Wentz.
So that brings me to the other thing. That brings me to something I just thought of. They played better with Foles. So do you think it's a Wentz issue? The team not believing in Wentz enough?
Wasn't there like a story after they won the Super Bowl maybe the year after where there was like an anonymous player came out or whatever talking about
that was all Sean Jeffrey, I think.
Yeah. About his leadership and being a captain or whatever.
Something like that, yeah.
Either way, it was like a dig on Carson Wentz essentially.
Yeah.
I forget exactly what it was, but it was like just a kind of a ding on him. And
I know what you're talking about.
It's not even just that. I feel like the coaching and just everything on the Eagles.
It's everybody. It's not just Wentz,
doing anything to help him at all.
No.
Correct.
First off, you should have built up your line because you knew your line was going to suck because you lost Brandon Brooks for the year. So you should have just kind of dealt with that. You already have Lane Johnson, who you probably fucked up more because he just came back from surgery. You have an aging Jason Peters who
should have retired 4 years ago.
Who still needs surgery on his foot. They're not letting him get surgery until end of the season. What's the point of having a playthrough injury?
Yeah, it is just like. So it's
also, it was also something we were when I was watching the game. Tony Romo made a good point. I never see the Eagles do this.
You watched the game?
I did, yes.
Why?
Are you sure you're the right Mike Whitmer?
Why would you watch the game? Why? Do you hate your life or something? Do we need to talk about this? Do we need to have a therapy session or why you just watch?
I'll be honest.
I'm just surprised.
I'll be honest.
Not gonna lie, this is one of the very few first times I've actually heard Whitmer say he watched an Eagles game.
I stopped watching after they lost like 3 in a row.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, I just needed a good laugh. Okay.
I'll put it this way. I actually tuned in for a little bit but to be fair, it was after they announced Jalen Hurts went in the game.
Okay, I understand that part. I would watch that part. I just didn't want to watch the Eagles in general because I'm like, there's no point to waste my 3 hours of my life.
And we got to see Jalen Reagor get it, 72-yard punt return.
Did he not see what? Yeah, which one did he want on the Eagles draft again, Brian? I forget who. Did he want on the draft, Jalen Reagor?
Absolutely, he loves Jalen.
Yeah.
See, he's his boy.
And not the other guy who at the moment
jerseys,
and not the other guy who as a
tearing him
rookie
apart
for
in the
the
league.
Vikings, who has just as good of a quarterback as Carson Wentz, is over 1,000 yards, and the only other
The
person to do
best
that.
since Randy freaking Moss. Ever
Yeah.
heard of him?
So don't get me wrong, I don't hate Jalen Rager. I just think it was a poor decision to draft him.
I agree, but
Yeah, no
they've
shit.
been making poor decisions.
Tell Howie Roseman that.
But going back to my point,
He
that
wouldn't listen.
yeah, but and what Tony Romo was saying was essentially
wrong.
have him do a little more play action, but get him out of the pocket. The reason why he just goes back and he's just stuck in the pocket, and that's why. At least then you can maybe stretch it out a little bit more if you just have him roll out a little bit. I thought that was just kind of a good point. Just I don't know. I don't.
Yeah.
I just don't think the Eagles. My thinking is
know.
I.
I'm sorry.
I
I'm not
love
sorry, but
it.
I'm sorry.
I think the Eagles are just kind of setting them up to fail too, and just guys in general.
But it's just
So
if you're Carson Wentz, what are you thinking right now? Like, when did you
Trade me.
start losing? What's
Trade
up?
me.
you can't get traded. They're not going to trade him. No one's going to
eat that
That's like
contract.
$128 million. It's like $115 million contract.
No one in the
for 4 more
NFL gives a
years.
shit about contracts.
They might now. Like that's a lot of money to pick up off someone who's not doing well.
But if given a new location, maybe he could.
New location, but
I
right
see
now,
a
but if
lot
you
of
look at
rumors. I'm not saying like this is true or not, but a lot of people
Maybe
are saying trade him to Indianapolis. Think about it. Philip Rivers is pretty dang old. I don't know how many years he's left.
But you got to look at it though. But you got to look at it though. So if you want to say, okay, we want to trade Wentz, right? You got to go to these teams and be like, look at 2 years ago. Look how great he did 2 years ago. But they're gonna be like, what about this year? Well, you got what? You got 10 games, right?
There's a bunch of
games,
teams that
10,
I think
11
would
games
take a
right now?
chance that need quarterbacks.
I don't know about that, but that 10-game streak you put him at, how well did he do when there's 10 Wentz?
But then again, here's some other things. Maybe some other teams can actually block for him.
Maybe. But
maybe not.
Personally, I would still want to be like, so he but what taking him is the same thing as kind of taking Jalen Rager. You're saying, look how great he could be, not how good he is right now. He's not even like, even if he wasn't doing great, you could still probably trade him. But even if he had some glowing aspects, some progression every here and there, you could be like, oh, look at him, he did well here, but he has none.
Right, but can you also make that point for Wentz over Hurts? Sorry, not Ertz.
I mean, Hurts only has taken what, like.
Yeah, he's only taken like a couple snaps, and he looks okay in the little bit he played. But
sure.
he
he's also a rookie, though.
True.
But then you can also look at that fact that look what he did at Alabama, and look what he did at
Oklahoma.
But aren't you doing the same thing
Oklahoma
with Jalen Hurts that you just said about Carson Wentz? Looking back a couple years back.
Yeah, but what Hurts is a rookie though. You can't. You got to take Hurts and be like, look at his 4 snaps he took.
Yes, but you're also saying collegiate versus professional.
Correct, but that's what you have to go off of, really, when you're at a rookie.
It's true.
Especially unless you're a starter rookie, then you can go off that. But if you're a rookie, you can't.
Yeah.
Like when you would look at what's his face, Tua, before they started him, you'd be, oh, look what he did at Alabama, right? You took a Justin Herbert. You said, oh, look what he did at Oregon. Because they're rookies, you have no other sample size to take.
Right.
You have nothing. There was no preseason. If they had a preseason, then I say you look at their preseason.
Right, but there was no preseason then.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. So. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you had a preseason with Jalen, they could be like, all right, look what he did through this 3-4 game stretch as a preseason. You could kind of ignore the college. You can still look back at it if you wanted to. But you could say, here's the NFL
you would more
preseason.
so focus on preseason, obviously,
right. Yeah. So, exactly. But since there was none, you have nothing to go off of. You have to go off of college.
Mm-hmm.
You have to look at his potential as a rookie because he is a rookie. If you're a second-year player, look at the rookie stats.
Right. I was also just saying if I was Carson Wentz, why I said trade me, I would, for me, myself, I feel like my team the team that said I was a franchise just kind of turned their backs on me for a second. And if it's like the end of the season thing and he's still the quarterback and he's the backup, I kind of demand a trade at that point because why would I want to stay?
The toughest part is who the hell is going to take that contract?
That's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
You never know.
The
But
thing
again,
is, we're not
who's
paying anybody that much
in their
money.
right mind take that contract, no matter how desperate a team is for a quarterback. And I'm sure there are a couple of teams out there desperate for a quarterback, but I don't know if they're that desperate.
Also,
They could
on that
be.
end, it's also on that end, like when you're like, yeah, that's a lot of money, but also we're not paying anyone that much money. We're not paying. We don't have any superstars on our defense.
Other than Fletcher Cox, really.
I mean, we got Cox, we got Slay, but like no one's getting that big name money. We're not like paying JJ Watt, right? You're not paying JJ Watt. You're not paying Joey Bosa. You're not paying
Any
Nick
Watts.
Bosa. You're not any Watts. You're not paying the Bosas. You're not paying Honey Badger. You're not paying like those kind of.
By the way, for the record,
tier.
that's the stupidest nickname I've ever heard. I hate that.
I don't know.
I will say this because I
it's
just
the
thought of a
stupidest
name.
nickname I've ever heard. Like, really, that's what you want people to call it?
I agree with Jeff because you're not paying. We're not paying a defender that much money, so we can. Most of these other teams are paying at least one defender like a shit ton of money because they need them. They need that player.
Didn't they give Brandon Graham a good amount?
I'm not sure. Did they?
I know they just signed a contract not that long ago.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much they're paying him though.
Because they let a lot of people go, I think, just to be able to give Wentz this contract. They let Foles go, who absolutely would have taken a pay cut to stay. They let Malcolm Jenkins go, who was a fan favorite, who was one of the better secondary players.
As I said, we gave up a lot of players to pay him, where other teams are paying multiple players decent money.
Yeah,
where we'd have to be like, oh, here's this $1 million, $100 million contract, but you're paying this other dude $60 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's or 60 mil over 2 years or whatever. Like it's hard to get off our chest. That's why I think we're tied to him for at least another year and a half, 2 years, till that cap drops, and then you can look at it.
Or you just eat it and just
ride him for 5 years and have a really shitty 5 years.
I was actually thinking you'd do a Carolina Panthers and do what they did with Cam Newton.
Good. Either way, I don't know.
Because Cam Newton, I'd actually say Cam Newton is a similar situation to what Carson Wentz, or at least before what Carson Wentz is currently at.
Very high pick.
Except he doesn't have that quarterback controversy. He just wasn't doing very well.
Yeah.
But now he's in New England. He can't really throw that well, but he just uses his legs.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Cam can't throw well, but he can use his legs and he can make progress. Wentz can't do it either. He won't run and do well.
Well, injuries kind of kept them from being able to do that, but
I agree. But also,
then again, to bring it point though, I think it was his first game back. Like, was it last year against Indianapolis when he came back during week 3, or was it the year before that? I'm thinking of.
No, I think he tore his ACL in 2017.
No, that I know, but I'm saying like whatever.
So I think it's 2018. He came back.
Yeah, was that the game where it was like week 3, and he played week 3 or 4 at home? He played against the Colts, but literally he looked like his normal old reckless self because
it was week 3 or 4.
Yeah, because again, like there was a first down.
I didn't watch that game.
Not only sprinted, but he dove for the first down, going out of bounds just for the So again, like it was still there. Obviously, like, you gotta be a little bit more careful, but like it's kind of hard if you play a reckless way. Like obviously, if you got to choose
like that. You got to choose your battles when you're QB like that.
But because you can either have an RG3 situation where he tears his ACL, never ends up being the same, and he's just not the same. Or you have it the other way, where it's just you can't really throw that well or anything like that. But
yeah, no, I agree with that. But at the same time, a normal person tearing the ACL, they're done. When you're a professional and you're being paid that much, you're being paid to take those hits sometimes. But
again, he wasn't getting nearly paid, obviously, as much as he is now. But now he is. Right.
But now he is.
It's so going back.
You did also, I hate to bring this up, but you did, in order to keep Wentz, lose the only guy that won you your Super Bowl. Just saying. And Nick Foles. And maybe that duo would have made it a better Eagles team right now, just because you could have had you had those back-to-back years.
But again, here's the thing.
I support keeping Wentz. Wentz just needs to step up, do better, and he needs to make right decisions. He's being paid way too much money. If he was being paid way less, I'd be like, I don't give a shit. But if he's being paid way too much money, he's also in his 5th year to be throwing almost 2 interceptions a game.
Yeah.
Not
only
that's what it's
that,
averaging out to,
the other
basically.
thing is, you would think by now he would learn to not be the hero and try to extend a play to try to do something with the ball. Again, a lot of these bad plays and turnovers and also just sacks he's giving up is the fact that he's trying to extend the play. He's scrambling more when he can easily get rid of the ball to throw it to the sideline. And, he actually did that for the first time I think I've seen all season long. He was getting ready to get sacked and he threw like a little pitch to the side and out of bounds to avoid the sack. Literally the first time I've ever seen it in the entire season from him.
Well, I support him trying to gain yardage. I support that.
But again, like if there's absolutely like nowhere to go, and for a fact it's either you take a sack or just throw it away.
Oh, well, yeah, sack situation. Yeah.
Well, but that's what I'm talking about. Like in a sack situation, almost literally 10 times out of 10, he's been taking the sack because he doesn't get rid of the ball. He's trying to be the hero. He's trying to extend the play. And there's been times where he's hesitated. He's thought about throwing the ball, but then something clicks in his head and says, wait, hold on to the ball, don't get rid of it. And then he, 5 seconds later, takes the sack.
Yeah.
That's where he can't be doing those things. I agree with you because
that's what I'm saying.
Way too much money.
That's one of the bigger issues.
If you're a 5th-year quarterback, you don't make those mistakes.
That's my point.
And even if you do, they should be very little. Very little.
I support, if he's trying to get a first down, he's almost there. Die for it. Go. You're being paid the money to do that. Because you're that kind of QB. I don't expect Philip Rivers. I don't expect Joe Flacco. I don't expect Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, those kind of QBs, to do that, right? Mm-hmm. We don't expect that from them. But from you, Lamar Jackson, Mahomes, Cam Newton, I expect Aaron Rodgers a little bit. I expect those kind of QBs. If you're 5 yards and you can pull it and run, you're pulling and running. Mm-hmm. Expect that, right? But the other QBs, I don't. So Wentz, I'm like, if you're 5 yards in, there's no one there, and there's a tiny bit of a gap for you to go, don't sit there and take a sack.
Yeah.
Don't try to throw a 40-yard bomb. Go for it. Go run up and slide if you even need to. But gain that through those 3 yards. Even if it's 3 yards, take those 3 yards and then pound it up the middle. Mm-hmm. He sits back and drops back and just, I don't know.
Yeah. And there's times where it feels like before the play even starts, he kind of has an idea who he wants to target versus.
It seems like after his first check, he's screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And fortunately for the Eagles sense, I feel like because everyone keeps saying how down of a year Ertz is having and what you're going to do contract-wise with him with Wentz's contract here and everything. But some of that's also on Wentz, and also because the Eagles, if you're going to defend against him, what are you going to do? You're going to cover Ertz because that's who they're going to throw to.
He's his only player.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Also, it's not all Wentz. It's a lot of the front office. It's
a lot of everything.
It's literally a little bit of everything.
I think the idea is this. Does Wentz lose confidence and trust with Peterson? And if he does, who do you choose, Peterson or Wentz in the future? I think that's what it come down to. Who do you want? Do you want to keep Wentz or do you want to keep Peterson?
I'm not going to
lie. If it's me, I would kind of keep neither. But that's just me because I'm not a big Doug Peterson fan. And Wentz at this point is kind of, I don't know.
Damaged goods.
Point. Yeah.
So it's very tough because, so that's going to lead to me to probably a next question for you guys, follow up with this. So between if it's either Doug Peterson or Carson Wentz, I almost can't believe I'm saying this. I'd rather go with Dougie P. It's
Wentz because he won he won the Super Bowl, and 2, you can give him another year. If he sucks again,
here's my thing though. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like if the Eagles, they're gonna fire the wrong guy in Doug Peterson compared to Howie Roseman first. If anyone they're gonna fire, they're gonna, because again, look how bad the team's playing. They're gonna, besides Carson Wentz, they're gonna blame Doug Peterson. He's got to go. I guarantee you, the moment if he gets the axe, he's going to go to another team that actually is.
He's definitely going to go to another team.
Well, my point is, I'm saying he can go to like a contending team because one, he has a Super Bowl, but two, I guarantee you, like a team that's close to becoming a contender, or at least a contending team in general that needs a new coach. Look what I got, and in Doug Peterson, I guarantee you, he can help fix whatever that team needs, whip them into shape, and they'll be a playoff contending team for years to come. So my worry is they're going to choose all the wrong pieces over Doug Peterson. Now, I'm not saying Doug Peterson has made some of the best choices at all this year because he hasn't had a great year himself either. But I think the right decision, again, going back to the first question, Carson Wentz versus Doug Peterson, I'm keeping Doug.
I don't know who to pick.
I know. Again, it's a very difficult decision
because Wentz would need the right.
I don't think you can really. The only one you can really get rid of is Peterson, because Wentz is the more of a headache of trying to get rid of.
Correct.
So I think the other question really is Howie and Peterson, or just Howie, or just one of them.
Everybody. No, everybody. If we're having this, you gotta get rid of everybody.
One
person goes.
The only thing I'd think of that is I think Jeffrey Lurie likes Howie, and that's why he always goes back to him. Because he was he was even here before Chip Kelly. Yeah. He just made him a president. Then when he got fired, he just went back to being GM.
Yeah, but I think if Peterson's out,
if Peterson goes, then Howie's
not far behind him. And I think if Howie's not far behind him, Wentz isn't far behind him.
Yeah,
I think that's how it's going to go. Whoever, no matter who you choose, Wentz or Peterson, that triangle, they're not far from each other. Maybe a couple of years, but they're not very far from each other.
But honestly,
maybe you're separating all three.
If the Eagles want to be serious contenders at any point in time again, before the season ends, meaning leading up to free agency, before the draft especially, they need to get rid of Howie Roseman because he can't draft for shit.
No, we realize that.
They just have to pull a Giants, because the Giants have pretty much been rebuilding, and just rebuild. If it were me, I would just stack up your defense a little more, just so your offense, there's not as much liability.
With as high as a pick as the Eagles are going to have, this is going to be the highest pick they've had in years since technically Carson Wentz, when they traded up for him. Mm-hmm. Where do you even go with this pick? Where do you need the most help?
There's a lot of places.
Line.
I know that's the issue. You need so much help.
The defense isn't horrible.
It's not, but it could use a couple pieces.
So. Yeah, but I would choose the offensive line over defense.
I agree. Yeah.
Or what you do is even better. You get what you need through free agency on offense or defense, and then just focus on the draft for what you need.
Yeah.
Try to get rid of Alshon and Deshaun if you can, because those are two contracts that are just kind of away at salary.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you can pick, so if you only need to fill in, say, one or two for defense, try to find that in the free agent, right?
And then draft.
Find that, and then draft offense.
Yeah.
Or go the opposite way, whichever way. If you want to mix it up, grab a free agent defender and then move over to offense and defense.
But again, what it comes down to is you gotta draft smart, and we have not been drafting smart for the past several years.
Yeah, I mean the one is when we won the Super Bowl, that was kind of difficult because we couldn't really do much.
Yeah, well then again, I will say the one smart draft pick, Dallas Goedert.
I still like Gesicki better, but I like Goddard.
Who was it?
Mike Gesicki from Penn State, who's doing really well for the Dolphins.
He is.
I honestly, this is like the first time I've ever heard of his name, because I don't follow Penn State.
He's a really good tight end. But like, it wasn't like how I feel about the Rager Jefferson.
Cool. Yeah.
Jefferson. It's not like that. I was like, all right, cool. We got Goddard. I knew he was a good tight end, but I was like, if we had the opportunity, I think Gesicki might have been gone by then. But if we could have gotten Gesicki, I would have liked him.
I gotcha.
But because I think he was a little faster.
Oh, okay.
But he's still the same size.
I can see that, yeah.
He had still the same size as Goddard, but I think he was a tiny bit faster.
He's a tiny bit faster. Yeah, and that's fair. Yeah.
But I was like, either one was a good pick. It really didn't matter. I just would have, if I had the option.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
But if you're going,
either one was a good pick, though.
I say left tackle. That's what you should go after. You already have your right tackle in Lane Johnson. You have Brandon Brooks, who's hurt now, but he's your guard. You have Kelsey, who's still solid. So then that's just the other side of your line.
Truth.
And because this season
Okay.
you were going to start a guy who never played left tackle before.
Against
That-
Saints.
I can't honestly. I'm trying to remember. I'm blanking on the name big time. Who was that guy that we spent our first round pick on? What was it like last year? That had the triceps injury. He's like some kind of guard, I think. Dillard.
Him.
That's another issue. Yeah, exactly. I forgot about him.
I completely forgot about him.
You could have said
Exactly.
any name. I don't know.
But yeah, Andre Dillard. That's who it is. Yeah.